Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tilting Ground Untitled Notre Dame USC Football Podcast. I'm Michael Muto. I'm here with Greg Flamong. Hey, Greg.
Hi, Mike.
It's our very first midweek podcast.
Midweek.
So happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yes. We had to add a bonus podcast. Honestly, like we planned to anyway, but given today's events, we probably would have had to anyway.
All right. So what Greg's referring to is the University of Notre Dame had to vacate some wins due to an academic scandal. And you know what I texted Greg when I heard the news was, welcome to the vacated wins club.
Happy to be here. Happy to be a part of it.
So you want to give everyone just a quick breakdown. It's kind of old news, right? It's not like a news story, bro. This is just punishment for something that already happened.
Yeah, I didn't know that this was even a thing. Like, it's from the Frozen Five, quote unquote. So in 2014, 5 players were suspended for the season, and from the academic scandal, whatever you want to call it. So this is basically the fallout from that. So they are on a year probation, which is basically like just don't do anything bad. Like they didn't lose scholarships and they didn't lose a bowl game that they're not going to go to. I guess maybe this season was a self-imposed sanction.
The NCAA just felt bad.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, they had to pay like $5,000. I don't know what that's about.
So what did Brian Kelly say? This was student-on-student cheating. It wasn't an institutional cheating scandal.
Right. So basically, what happened is you had a athletic trainer, in the program, who's been in the It's not like, this was like one of Brian Kelly's people. It's like schools have athletic trainers that kind of get hired, like, outside of the football program.
I imagine there's a lot of hangers-oners when it comes to big programs like Notre Dame or USC.
Well, I mean, it's an athletic training. I mean, it's a real thing. Like I dated a girl who was an athletic trainer for Fullerton. Like, they usually get their certification through the school and then they move on to, work for the football team or whatever. So this young lady was, she was a student at Notre Dame, and she was like doing work for players.
That's not okay.
It's not okay for anywhere. But it's like, she's not like, she wasn't a tutor, she wasn't a academic aide. Like this is essentially just a student who was doing.
It'd just be if, Kavai Russell asked anyone to do his homework for him.
Yeah. Like asked his girlfriend or his roommate or his friend or whoever, like, so that's where it came from. And, I think where Notre Dame is upset is like they discovered it, right? This isn't someone who went to the NCAA and was like, hey, this is what we found. Like Notre Dame discovered it, and they immediately suspended the players that were on campus, and they reported it to the NCAA. They're like, hey, this is what we found. This is what's going on. We suspended all the players, and like they're still in school. Like some of them are expelled.
We'll hear back from you shortly.
Yeah, like we're just letting you know what we found because that's what you're supposed to do. I mean, this is from like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So the NCAA decided, well, because this person technically worked for the athletic department, there's like a bylaw that is no longer a bylaw, by the way. But there was a bylaw at the time that said someone who works in the athletic department is essentially looked at the same as if it was actually Brian Kelly who was writing the papers.
It sounds very NCAA.
Right. So it's like this athletic trainer writing papers for players is no different than Brian Kelly or any other coach writing the players. Like, it's all treated the same.
Or at least 3 years ago it was.
Yeah,
when this bylaw was in effect.
Now it is no longer. So, like, basically, the entire athletic department is being held responsible for this one person. And so they're like, okay, you're going to vacate wins. Great.
Notre Dame is appealing.
They are
right?
appealing, and they should appeal. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. What are they? Why?
NCAA, man. I think they're always wrong.
It's like, yeah, like, I'm not gonna get into like a big thing about it because, like, the NCAA doing NCAA things. Like, it's the funny thing is that, like, how often are just in general, not even like, not even an athletic department, or like not even a football program, but just like, how often are papers being written for people in college?
Probably more than people would like to admit.
It's going on all the time. Like, come on, it's just ridiculous. So, and I guarantee you that at most major programs, this has been, found, and most major programs won't say anything because, frankly, like, they don't really need to. It's like, look, your player got caught cheating or something, then, you punish the player. You make him take an F in the class or whatever. You don't need to report it to the NCAA, but Notre Dame did. And so what did the NCAA do for that, thing that they did, like trying to do it the right way?
Overreacted.
They took away wins. It's like, what are you, crazy? It's like, yeah, we're going to take away wins from the school that's self-reported and graduates 95% of their players.
Because that will, make others want to self-report.
Meanwhile, you've got North Carolina with fake classes, enrolling players in, fixing grades on an institutional level for 17 years, and like nothing yet. We just don't know. It's like, what is North Carolina just like? Are they just going to wipe out like their entire? If this is the standard, are they going to wipe out like everything that's ever happened in athletics for the last 17 years in North Carolina? It's insane.
Death penalty.
It's insane. So,
well, that's the news. The news this week for Notre Dame.
And the other part of this that I don't understand, Michael, is this was 2 years ago. Notre Dame has 1 week left in the season. Like, why are you dropping this today? Like, wait.
The NCAA was busy.
Like, why?
Why they weren't busy?
Like, why do the 2016 players? Because they have,
have to deal with this.
They have press conferences on Wednesday. Like, they're going to be asked about it. Like, why do they have to deal with this?
It is true.
None of them were on the team.
Well, the NCAA has to get their name in the papers. They got to get that media coverage.
It's incredible.
How hard they're coming down.
No one.
They were running out of time because Notre Dame doesn't have a bowl game.
There isn't one of these players that was involved in this. Like, why do they have to deal with it? Like, this has nothing to do with them. Just wait. All you have to do is wait 1 week, and then they don't have to deal with it at all. They have to get ready for a game, and now they're going to be asking about something that took place 2 years ago that didn't involve them.
Very reasonable.
So, and people are mad at Brian Kelly because he, they're mad at him because he didn't like take responsibility, even though, like,
what's he supposed to do?
His responsibility lies in the fact that he recruited the players that committed these infractions. Like, that's his responsibility.
He should know better.
And like, honestly, like, he should, like, as the leader of the program, he should say, like, you know what? These are the kids that I brought in. I feel a responsibility just like any parent would feel a responsibility for the actions of their child. Like,
if that's what coaches did, Florida State wouldn't have a team.
Of course. But it's like, they're here because I asked them to come here, and then they did this thing that, look, it tarnishes the university. Like that's what taking wins away does. Like, because what's the NCAA gonna do, right? Like they can't really do anything. All they can.
Don't test them, Greg.
Well, no, but like you can take away scholarships, I guess. Like you can take away, bowl games or whatever, but like really they knew they couldn't really do anything in this situation. Like Notre Dame didn't really do anything wrong. Like this institution.
Right. Like something happened, but it wasn't.
In fact, they did everything right. Like they found it and they got rid of the players. Like to their detriment. Like these were starters. But what's the NCAA, what they did is like, you know what? We're gonna tarnish your program. And you're going to have the dreaded vacated wins on your record for all times. It's going to be on there. You will have the scarlet letter.
No, I know. It's silly.
So,
all right, well, before we get into the rivalry game, I'm sure you saw this fun little stat that I read, but I think this is a good intro. Since Brian Kelly's hiring at Notre Dame.
Oh yeah, I did see it.
USC has had 4 coaches, 2 midseason firings, 2 ADs, a postseason ban, and is 60-30. Brian Kelly's 59-30.
It's pretty unbelievable.
Welcome to rivalry week.
And by the way, that's not like that does not include any like vacated wins either.
This is before vacated wins.
Right.
That's crazy. I can't believe that.
That is weird. That is not good.
Notre Dame went to a national title game.
That is factually correct. These are all true points.
So we're talking about Notre Dame. Let's stay on Notre Dame.
Okay.
Let's start with the offense. I think that's the most fun part of Notre Dame heading into USC week when they come to Los Angeles. What can we expect, or what should I be worried about from the Notre Dame offense as a USC fan?
What should you be worried about?
Yeah, I know you're going to say nothing.
Well, no. I mean, here's the thing. When they're playing well, then, there's a lot to worry about. I mean, SC has good defensive backs. They're not the best. I feel like Notre Dame can present problems. Like if Deshaun Kaiser's playing well, I mean, people think that he's, a top 10 pick for a reason. Like when he's playing well, he's playing really well. Their problem is like they can't ever sustain it.
But they end up goofing it up somehow.
Yeah, like the difference between him playing well and him playing poorly it's a big difference, and it happens for like not even series, like quarters. Like they'll go quarters without like getting a first down.
Right. Like my concern is they could jump out to like 17-0 really fast. But the hope is that then they go muck up the second quarter and USC's right back in it.
Yeah, like there will be points in this game when Notre Dame's moving the ball. It might be at the beginning, it might be in the middle, it might be at the end. It probably won't be at the end because they've been a terrible fourth quarter team. So somewhere between the first and third quarter, Notre Dame will be moving the ball. So, but at some point during the first and third quarter or the fourth quarter, like they'll look like the worst offense you've played this year.
That's three and out.
Yeah. And
stupid fumble.
The thing that concerns me is like, this is probably Deshaun Kaiser's last game. So, and Brian Kelly's he wants to throw it anyway. And he said after last game when they ran the ball for 200 yards that he thought they should have thrown more. Something tells me that they are going to get as much as they can out of Deshaun Kaiser while he's wearing a Notre Dame uniform.
And his arm.
Specifically. So,
I'm okay with that.
Of course you're okay with that. And look, SC's got that nose tackle.
Stevie Tui. Nope. That's his name, but I won't be able to get it right.
Stevie.
The guy from Utah.
They've got Stevie.
Stevie T.
Dude's a monster. And I don't think Notre Dame's so fired up to be running the ball at him. I feel like they could probably run at Porter Gustin a little bit.
They probably could. They could probably run, off. If they ran off their own
if
guards.
they really wanted to, they could run the ball well against USC if they really wanted to. I don't think they really want to. I don't think that's their plan. I don't think that's what they're going to, try to do. Like, they're not going to come out here and run the ball, 6 yards, then 4 yards, and 6 yards. Like, they're not going to do that. Like, they're gonna run the ball in spots and then throw it every other time. Like, if I'm an SC fan and I see Notre Dame running the ball well early, like, I'm not even worried about it because they're not going to stick with it. They don't want to.
We just know between players and coaches.
Yeah, like, they're just not. Like, that's not what they've been. I mean, basically, like, the case for Notre Dame winning this game is for them to be something that they haven't been all season. Which is, like,
I want to see
possible, but why would it happen?
Yeah, I want to see 3rd and 3 empty backfield. That's what I want to see.
Well, that's coming. There's no question about that.
So there's no Torrey Hunter Jr., right? He's out. Possibly.
I think like, he just started practicing. Like, if I had to guess, he's not gonna play. And frankly, like, I don't like whoever's backing him up. Like, I mean, it's probably better that he's out there because then he could run in the slot, and it's like him against whoever is in the slot for USC is probably better because, like, I feel like Adoree Jackson on Kevin Stepherson and Iman Marshall on Equinemius St. Brown, like, that's a pretty good matchup for USC. Just like
that's a wash.
Yeah, like exactly. I'm not saying like they'll shut anyone down or anything, but I'm feeling pretty good about that if I'm you guys.
Adoree Jackson, Jim Thorpe Award finalist.
I mean, good for him.
He leads the Pac-12 in interceptions, or tied for the Pac-12 lead.
Yeah, that helps.
I didn't know that.
That helps.
He probably won't win, but not the point.
Will Fuller is not on the team this year, so
Kevin Stepherson is fast though.
He's not Will Fuller.
Okay.
Yeah, right. I mean, yeah, Adoree Jackson should not have problems with him. So I mean, Torrey Hunter in the slot, he presents problems, but like he hasn't been a dominant player like all season. So it's not like he's the kind of guy. It's like, oh yeah, like he'll get a first down here or there.
He's useful to have,
but it's not like, like he's not like Will Fuller where it's like, or Juju where it's like, okay, this is a problem that needs to get figured out like soon. He's not like that.
Okay.
So,
line wise, anybody hurt or injured?
Other than their psyche?
Other than their psyche, yes.
No, I mean, it's just
I think they're all
like the offensive line, like they're fine. Like I think USC would be able to, like, I don't think that USC necessarily needs to blitz to get pressure. I just think
I don't know, man. They're still not that good at getting pressure. I know
it's true, but
they
like,
had a good game against Washington.
I've seen some poor defensive lines get pressure against Notre Dame this year. I mean, it's just like they're just not super consistent. Notre Dame's not a bad line. I'm not saying they are, but I don't think USC necessarily needs to send pressure. They probably will because I think that's generally what they do. But I'll put it like this: if they wanted to send pressure, it would probably work.
Okay.
But I don't know that they need to.
Speaking of, when we were talking about Adoree, I forgot to mention he has a bum ankle, but he should be okay. Game time. Porter Gustin also has a bad ankle, but he should also be okay come game time. It's senior day for USC, so I'm trying to think of what seniors are on the defense. There's Michael Hutchins, Captain Michael Hutchins.
Number 19, right?
Number 19.
He's good.
He's a senior. Stevie T, he's a senior, but he's only been around for a season.
What
What other seniors are there?
I mean, you could kind of You could kind of
Leon McCoy.
consider Dory Jackson.
Yeah, Adori's gone.
Yeah.
This is his last home game for the Trojans.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I feel good about that. I think. Yeah, my only concern is Notre Dame just jumping out to a hot start, but UCLA jumped out to a hot start against the Trojans, and they battled back. So I'm not.
I just don't see how they could sustain anything. I mean, they haven't.
Yeah, why would they start now?
Yeah, like it's been 12 games. Like there's nothing.
They're thinking about Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's not there. I mean, look at the coaches. Like they're dealing with this situation. They don't know. They don't even know if they'll have their jobs. Like they probably assume they will, but
yeah, it's a pretty bad press cycle for Notre Dame. They're not bowl eligible. They lost some wins. People talking about getting fired.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's bad news for going into the end of the season.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about something more fun then. Sam the Man Darnold, as Brian Kelly called him.
He loves him.
He did have some very high praise for
He
Sam
was
Darnold.
heaping the praise.
Is that Lou Holtz style, or does he really mean it?
No, he means it.
Okay.
He doesn't really do that. Like he just kind of like normally he's like he just matter of fact about things. Like I think like honestly I think he's like jealous. Like he's kind of like, oh, I wish he was on my team kind of thing.
It's weird being the SC fan here because of course I'm excited about Sam Darnold, but it's weird to hear other people like across the nation sing the praises of USC's freshman quarterback. Like it's nice, I guess, is the word I'm looking for to almost be like justified. Like, oh yeah, okay, good. I'm seeing the same things too. I'm not just being a homer, talking about how fun my team is.
Well, all I'll say is, like, A, you should be excited, and B, this is how everyone felt about DeShone Kizer last year. So
this is true. I am actually very concerned about that. In the back of my mind, that's all I think is next year's going to be rough.
I'm not saying it's going to be rough. Like all the same people said the same thing about Deshaun Watson too, and he worked out all right.
That's true.
So I'm just saying it's not guaranteed to go the way you want.
But just right now, a new guy, a freshman quarterback no one had ever heard of, is winging the ball around at USC, and it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
I can safely say that. So I think it'll just be more of the same for the Trojans on offense. There was an article in the LA Times, the much maligned LA Times, this week about how Sam Darnold is finding all the different receivers, something we've mentioned a lot on this podcast. So it was nice to see some validation that Darnold does. It makes all the other receivers just more willing to practice, I think was the gist of the article, that everyone likes being involved, as opposed to last year when when Cody Kessler was just throwing a juju every third pass.
Right.
So that's good. That's good to hear. Good to see everyone's on the same page. There's been a lot of talk about the tight ends being involved so much more this year as opposed to last year, and all the different tight ends, not just one. So that's fun too. Imatora Bebe, he's Mr. Red Zone target. So I think the offense will be fine. I'm not sure how hurt Justin Davis still is. I know he played a lot, but I imagine you get a heavy dose of Ronald Jones.
Goody.
And hopefully Notre Dame's defense keeps on giving up big plays. Actually, they haven't done that in a while.
Well, they were about to give one up if the guy didn't like volleyball it to our safety.
That was more of a last year thing when they just gave up all the big plays.
Right. Well, I feel like they haven't given up big plays this year or lately because they've been giving up other things. Like, so they're kind of giving people like 7 yards.
They've just been bad.
Yeah, like they're giving up people 7 yards, so it's like if they're gonna give it to them, they're just gonna take it. But I feel like if they tried to take shots, like I feel like it'd be fine. Like
So
I don't have a good like. I mean, basically, USC has to play bad somehow. Like
well, Darnold's good for a couple turnovers, so they do have that.
yeah, like he he's good for turnovers against like teams that are good at forcing turnovers. Like Notre Dame's not really like a team that forces a lot of turnovers. Like they don't really put pressure. Like I said, like USC would have to play bad. Like he would have to be inaccurate for some reason. Like the receivers would have to be dropping like key third downs for some reason. I mean, they would need like a huge performance from Jerron Jones, the nose tackle, which could happen. I mean, he's been really good the last few weeks, but I just don't see it.
The center, Nico Falla, has a broken finger on his
Oh
non-snapping
yeah,
hand.
you have new center or something.
No, he just has a broken finger on his non-snapping hand.
Oh, okay.
That's his injury. So maybe he'll have some trouble blocking. So do you think we get some Adoree on offense since this is his last home game?
Yes, because not only it's his last home game, but because it'll work. Like Notre Dame will fall for anything. Like this is proven. They will fall for anything you want. So like we're gonna see a lot of Adoree, and whatever he is involved with will work very well for USC. I just don't like. This is Notre Dame is like USC is the worst kind of team for Notre Dame to be playing right now. Their quarterback always knows where to go with the ball, and Notre Dame always has some sort of weakness in the secondary. And it's like, and you have a guy, if he plays in Juju, that Notre Dame can't cover with anyone. So, I like the kid who caught two. What was the kid's name who caught 2 touchdowns? We didn't.
DeQuan Hampton.
Hampton, like, there's no reason to think that he can't do that this week. Like, I think we could see a lot of that. Just like
he's a senior, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus, unbelievable. Notre Dame does not have seniors at receiver that no one knows that they just catch 2 touchdowns in a rivalry game, but whatever.
They just show up.
Yeah, I feel like SC, I feel like they're just going to be able to try stuff and it'll be fine. I don't I don't know how Notre Dame stops their run.
I think they can stop through. It depends on USC still has a little trouble running up the middle. The guard play against good defensive linemen has been even though they're on this roll.
But the thing is like it's just Jerron Jones.
Yeah.
It's not like they have a solid unit. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think they just need USC to play poorly, and even then, I don't.
For an extended period of time, or more poorly than they play.
Well, they need like a quarter. They need to find a way to keep USC from scoring for like a quarter, and hope that they score. Like basically, like the Miami game and the Virginia Tech game and like Duke or something. Like basically just hope that USC gets off to a slow start and hope that you're scoring as much as you can during that period. Because at some point SC is going to score a lot and some point Notre Dame's not going to score at all. So it's like you need to be up so that they're coming back. When they score a bunch of points, like they're not adding to a lead, they're trying to,
they're catching up.
Catch up, yeah. So that when they ultimately take the lead in the fourth quarter and win, it's like, well, we were leading earlier. For me, like if SC wins by like a touchdown, like I'll be totally cool with that. Because like they'll probably blow it.
Who, Notre Dame?
Yeah.
If it's a close game, they blow it.
Yeah. I mean, they've blown every game.
I mean,
this year.
why would they stop now?
Right. Like there's SC will either win big. I mean, it's kind of like Trump and Hillary, frankly. Like SC SC will either win big, or they'll win kind of close, or Notre Dame wins close.
Well, since we're talking about it, let's do it. So the line is for quite possibly the last Notre Dame game of the season. It was 17 before we started, but
we started like tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's moved a half point.
USC was a 17-point favorite.
All right, so it started at 16.5.
Yeah. That's a lot of points, man.
It's a lot of points.
Has USC, not USC, has Notre Dame lost by 17 points all season?
No.
I know we do a podcast about Notre Dame football, and I should know that answer.
Every game they've lost has been by at least one score.
Right. Okay, that's what I thought.
One score or less, like
they all kind of blur together.
I think 8 points is the highest, actually.
So I feel like you got to take the points, just unless they really just tank it and just no show.
I mean, there's precedent for that, my friend.
17 still 2 touchdowns and a field goal, though. That's a lot.
It is. I mean, but that's also like 48-31, or 38-20.
Yeah. And the over-under, I believe, is 57.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like 45-20 sounds right to me.
And what's funny is Notre Dame is probably going to score first.
Oh, there's no question. Well, I mean, they'll get the ball first for sure.
That is for sure. We could bet on that.
Everyone knows that's happening.
Yeah. SC will defer, Notre Dame will receive.
Or elect to receive, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think 45-20 sounds pretty good. That sounds right.
Just end the season just on the right note.
I mean, yeah, like I just don't like, even if like I could even see it being like 31-20 going into the fourth quarter or something. And SC's up 11, and it's like Notre Dame's kind of in it, but kind of not. And then they give up like a big play or something, and then they give like a pick six or something like it.
Right.
I don't feel like they'll completely blow them out in the beginning, but yeah, I think it ends up like 45-20, something like that. Unfortunately.
Well, I think SC is going to win. I don't want anyone to think that I'm being that much of a Debbie Downer. I'm gonna give the points. If they're gonna win, they're gonna win big. This is a statement game. They got to show off for the College Football Playoff Committee. They got to leap into the top 6 or so. Eventually.
Well, you're not really showing off against 4-7 team, but
it's Notre Dame. It's they're a nationally known opponent. You got to win the games you're supposed to.
Mike, they didn't win 2 games. They didn't win 1 game for 2 straight seasons. The NCAA just told me.
A fun fact is that even though Notre Dame vacated their wins, USC still gets the losses against Notre Dame.
Right.
So if anyone at home was happy about that, USC still gets the L's. So
what a stupid thing that they do.
It's so stupid. It's like, who are you punishing? No one remembers that you vacated wins.
No.
Yeah.
I just can't I can't come up with a plausible scenario for which Notre Dame wins.
All right. I
Like
like
they
it.
could.
Well, I mean,
You know,
anything could happen.
yeah, like they could. Like, they could suddenly just be consistently good for the whole game, or USC could just suddenly just lay an egg. Could happen. Probably won't.
Yeah, my only fear is Notre Dame jumping out early, because that is very likely. But yeah, like we've said a million times already today, that even if they jump out ahead, they'll find a way to ruin it.
Right. And that's like really, that's the only way that they're going to win the game.
Yeah, it's not like they're going to come back and win this.
And like
God,
jumping
I can't
out
believe
early,
I just said that.
like
We need to find some wood.
jumping out early doesn't like include like 7-0.
No. Like a couple scores.
It needs
A couple consecutive
it
scores.
needs to be like 17-21-0 for you to get concerned.
But
even then, SC's coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no question about that.
All right. You made me feel pretty good. Couple housekeeping notes on USC. They are ranked 12th in the College Football Playoff Committee rankings. There is a chance that if Washington, let's see if I can do this right. If Washington wins out, so they win the Pac-12 title game, they win against Washington State, and they get into the College Football Playoff, SC could be the next highest ranked Pac-12 team, and they may get to go to the Rose Bowl. So that's a fun little scenario for USC.
You know what's disgusting?
Go tell me.
SC is definitely going to the Rose Bowl, and they're obviously going to play some trash Penn State team.
Oh, that'd make me so happy. You know how I feel about the Big Ten.
I know how you feel about the Big Ten, and they're going to get to play some trash Penn State, and SC's going to get to win the Rose Bowl. And
after starting 1-3,
and every single time that my team is good enough to go to this game, they're playing like last year. They're playing
some powerhouse.
We're playing Ohio State, who had 10 guys drafted in the first round.
The NFL MVP on their team.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? Exactly right. They have the MVP of the freaking NFL on their team. And
he showed it. It wasn't like he didn't do anything in that bowl game.
Of course. And, it's like, and then we played LSU, in 2007 when they had the number one pick in the draft at quarterback and just all the talent that they have. And then they go to the Fiesta Bowl the year before and they play Ohio State that finished number 2, and the next year won the national championship. I'm just so tired of it.
You've left out Alabama in the national title game.
Well, it's so
that was just people should just know that.
No, but it's if you play for national title, you should expect to play a good team, But these freaking teams get so lucky with the track. Like freaking Stanford. So Stanford, they could have gotten Ohio State in the Rose Bowl, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, they didn't. They got trash Iowa. Notre Dame got Ohio State. Fantastic. Jesus. Freaking SC is going to get goofball Penn State garbage.
I kind of want them to get Wisconsin.
Oh, even better, Wisconsin.
Just for the rematch from last year.
Yeah, because last year.
And Wisconsin's defensive coordinator is SC's old defensive coordinator.
Right, they lost that Aranda guy.
Oh yeah, where did he go? LSU?
LSU, yeah.
So he's probably available, Greg. He could be a Notre Dame coach.
No, he's not. I was reading because I thought the same thing as you, and I was reading and LSU's they gave him a guaranteed deal.
They're doing the Virginia Tech hey, we keep the coordinator. We can get a new coach.
And who's gonna what coach is gonna come in and be you know what, man? I actually have a buddy of mine who's I think is really good defensive coordinator, so you can go on ahead and find whatever you think is good. Obviously not.
Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah, they're keeping him. He's probably he's the hottest name in college football right now. So yeah, he's staying put.
let's see, one other piece of USC housekeeping for the end of the season. If Colorado beats Utah, no, wait, I have it backwards. If Utah beats Colorado,
right.
There we go. Yeah, it didn't sound right. On Saturday, then SC will be going to the Pac-12 title game. And that game is after the USC game. So they will not know while they're playing Notre Dame. When USC is playing Notre Dame, they will not know what happens.
And like the Notre Dame game is irrelevant, right?
Yes, it does no effect on Pac-12 ranking.
Okay.
Or standings, not rankings.
Right.
But it does affect national rankings, which are important.
Well, it affects national rankings, but I mean, I guess if they lost, then it's like they could go to the Pac-12 title game, but they'd have no chance to like go to
sneak into the Rose Bowl
playoff. Well, the playoff.
Well, that too.
Because if they win the Pac-12 title, they're definitely going to the Rose Bowl at least.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying that maybe they sneak into the actual playoff at whatever in 3.
Right.
Okay.
Like
I mean, some people have them there, which is crazy.
Like if they theoretically, like if they beat Notre Dame and then they get into the
Pac-12 title game.
Yeah, and Washington wins, like if Washington beats Washington State, I mean, they'll be a playoff team at that point. Like they'll be, because Ohio State and Michigan are playing each other.
Right.
And Washington State's not a bad team, so it's not like Washington beating Washington State is not good. So they'll be in the top 4. So if SC beats a playoff, like the same playoff team twice, I mean,
they've got to jump up somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I mean, I don't know exactly what the rest of it looks like. Like it would probably be hard for them to like a 3-loss USC would probably hard to jump over like a 1-loss, I don't know, Ohio State or something. Assuming they're in it, or Michigan.
Right. Yeah, one of those teams probably wouldn't fall for it.
Or like a 2-loss Oklahoma.
Maybe.
I mean, maybe. I mean, Oklahoma was in it last year.
USC's at 7 in a row. So if they beat Notre Dame, that's 8. Beat Washington, that's 9. That's 9 wins in a row. Yeah. I think the committee would appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. I mean, they got to beat Notre Dame first.
Yeah. I think it'll be fine.
I think that's it for our Notre Dame USC preview.
Yeah.
We both think USC is going to win.
Yeah, I do.
Are there any other news stories kicking around Notre Dame? We got the scandal that shook South Bend.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any SC stuff now.
No.
Oh, seniors on offense who are playing their last game at the Coliseum. Darius Rogers, he's a senior. Justin Davis, senior. Both tackles, Zach Banner and Chad Wheeler, seniors. So they're
SC important to have a nice little transformation next year.
I think they have the skill position players to jump up.
I mean, I'm sure they do, but I mean, Darius Rogers, Juju Smith, and then your 2 tackles. That's not nothing. That's not nothing for anyone. I don't care who you are.
And I think the backup tackle, who's Ejima, I think his name. What's his name? I think he's done. Like he hasn't played since he punched the referee.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So yeah, it's a good point. I don't know exactly what's going to happen on the offensive line.
We'll deal with that later.
That's true. That's the recruiting podcast.
Yeah.
End of the season wrap up.
Yeah.
So we'll be back next week to recap the Notre Dame USC game. Then after that, who knows what happens?
Yeah.
It's anyone's guess where these teams play next. Well, we know where Notre Dame plays next.
Notre Dame plays next.
They'll be in August of
Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
Labor Day weekend against Temple. Maybe I'll do a deep dive into Temple.
We'll be ready. We'll be ready for Temple football.
No doubt.
All right. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the midweek podcast. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Follow us on Twitter. Greg, what's your Twitter?
@Greg2126.
Follow us on iTunes. Leave comments. If you see the post on Facebook or the website, share it. Be thankful that we give all this fun football knowledge and share it with the world. We would be thankful for that. And other than that, fight on.
Go Irish.